Good evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty Sultan Haytham gives an audience at Al Baraka Palace to Her Excellency Elizabeth Truss, the British Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs. On behalf of His Majesty the Sultan, His Highness Sayyid As'ad bin Tariq Al Said receives the Ambassador of the Syrian Arab Republic to the Sultanate of Oman to bid him farewell at the end of his duty. The Minister of Health stresses that the COVID-19 pandemic still continues and 26 cases of dengue fever are registered during the past weeks in the Governorate of Muscat. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq gave an audience at Al Baraka Palace today to Her Excellency Elizabeth Truss, British Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs. During the meeting, cordial talks were exchanged and historic friendship relations binding the two countries were reviewed, as well as ways of enhancing them in a way that opens wider horizons of the existing bilateral cooperation between them in serving the common interests of the British and Omani peoples. Views on many issues of concern to both sides were also exchanged in light of the current developments on the international arena. The meeting was attended by His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi, Foreign Minister, His Excellency Sayyid Faisal bin Hamoud Al Busaidi, Advisor at the Diwan of Royal Court, and His Excellency Bill Murray, Ambassador of the United Kingdom, accredited to the Sultanate of Oman. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq received a cable of thanks from the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in reply to His Majesty's greetings cable on the success of medical examinations he underwent recently. On behalf of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, His Highness Sayyid As'ad bin Tariq Al Said, Deputy Prime Minister for International Relations and Cooperation Affairs, Special Representative of His Majesty the Sultan, received in his office today His Excellency Dr. Bassam Saif ad-Din Al-Khatib, Ambassador of the Syrian Arab Republic to the Sultanate of Oman, to bid him farewell at the end of his duty. His Excellency the Ambassador expressed his utmost thanks to His Majesty the Sultan for the support he received during his duty in the Sultanate of Oman from His Majesty the Sultan, the government and the Omani people, which facilitated his duty, wishing His Majesty the Sultan good health, happiness and long life, and Omani people further progress and prosperity under the wise leadership of His Majesty the Sultan. His Highness Sayyid As'ad bin Tariq thanked the Ambassador for the efforts he exerted to strengthen and develop the existing relations between the two brotherly countries during his tenure, wishing him continued success. The meeting was attended by Their Excellencies the Secretary General and the advisors at His Highness's office. Her Excellency Elizabeth Truss, British Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs, praised the strong bilateral relations binding the Sultanate of Oman and the United Kingdom. This came while His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed Al Nu'mani, Minister of the Royal Office, received Her Excellency the British Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs in his office today. Her Excellency expressed her gratitude and appreciation for the cooperation and role conducted by the Sultanate of Oman at various political and security arenas, especially efforts exerted to release a number of British citizens detained in some countries. His Excellency the Minister of the Royal Office welcomed Her Excellency and thanked her efforts exerted to develop existing relations between both friendly countries. His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al-Saidi, Minister of Health, stressed during the press conference of the Supreme Committee on COVID-19 pandemic that the pandemic has not ended and is still continuing with the escalation of infection numbers in the countries of the world.
COVID-19 disease is still here. We thought when Omicron started that this might be the beginning of the end. Unfortunately, there are subgroups of Omicron now which started spreading in countries where they reached an excellent level of vaccination. Admission rates started to go up as well. Those who received at least one dose are 97% of the targeted population, and I have to stress the targeted population 12 years and above. 2 doses, the total 90%. From the Omani population, the first dose is 97% of the targeted population, the second dose 91%. But the third dose, unfortunately, only 10%. That's 160,198 Omanis only. 98% of those who died of COVID-19 over the last few months were those who either received no doses at all, or 1 or 2 doses, and more than 6 months passed after the second dose and they did not take the third dose. It's very obvious that vaccines protect from severe disease and can prevent death as well. Therefore, I'm urging everybody who's 12 and above, if they have not received the vaccine as yet, please go to the nearest health center, the nearest center for vaccination in Oman. It is free of charge for everybody, and take your first and second dose.
The Minister of Health also clarified that the number of registered cases of dengue fever during the past weeks amounted to 17 in the Wilaya of Bosher, 7 in the Wilaya of Sib, and 2 in the Wilaya of Al-Amrat, stressing that efforts are being made to get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito that causes this disease. The 10th edition of Oman Annual Forum began today with the participation of various governmental, private and academic institutions. The forum seeks to enhance the competitiveness of the Sultanate of Oman to integrate with the global economy and play an active role in global trade to achieve comprehensive and sustainable development. The forum discussed the Sultanate of Oman's readiness to move to a knowledge-enabled society and an economy based on innovation. It reviewed the strategic measures and policies taken by the Sultanate of Oman, the economic challenges, the alignment between national priorities, the importance of building national capacities, and providing them with the skills to meet sustainable growth. The opening of the forum was held under the patronage of Her Excellency Dr. Rahma bint Ibrahim Al-Mahrouqiya, Minister of Higher Education, Research and Innovation. The Works of Oman Cybersecurity Conference commenced under the theme Partnership for a Secure Economy. This event was patronized by His Excellency Engineer Saeed bin Hamoud Al-Ma'wali, Minister of Transport, Telecommunications and Information Technology. Here is a report.
Partnership for a Secure Economy is the title of Oman Cybersecurity Conference in its 2nd edition, which focused on economics of electronic security and the requirements of effective partnership and on boosting electronic security readiness. The conference was attended by an elite group of ethical hacking experts and specialists of cybersecurity who discussed possible legislative frameworks to achieve cybersecurity and creating partnerships that keep pace with developments and protect systems and information, in addition to the concept of partnership in the strategies and cybersecurity industry, besides integrated roles and standardized indicators.
Today we are gathering here in this cybersecurity conference in order to basically identify or discuss 3 main pillars. The first is technology related. So we're discussing more what are the latest technology in terms of cybersecurity. The second is more towards the economical factors of cybersecurity and how it is related to cybersecurity in particular. And the third is more on awareness and how we can push more and more awareness to the society.
This conference is held in an effort to strengthening the partnership between the public and private sectors by establishing programs and work plans targeted by the electronic security field to enable digital transformation.
We're very pleased today to have the Oman Cybersecurity Conference on its second edition. As we all know, there is more and more reliance on internet in societies, not just Oman, but everywhere. And that's also lead to there is more risk and unsafe environment in the internet world or the virtual world. So we are trying to focus on the challenges, and we're trying to come out with some solution to help have a safe economy and safe usage of internet in Oman.
The first thing that can be done in this case is for the various institutions to become acquainted with the concept of electronic security, and that it is no longer just an antivirus program or an increase in security protection rates through traditional software available in the market.
The Oman ICT Group launched its commercial identity, ICT Group, yesterday under the patronage of His Highness Sayyid Lu'ay bin Ghalib bin Khalid Al Saeed. More details in the following report.
With the aim of developing the infrastructure of the communications and information technology sector, expanding the range of networks and enhancing digital capabilities in the Sultanate of Oman through integration and partnership between the public and private sectors and international companies, Oman Communications and Information Technology Group, OICT, launched its new commercial identity, ICT Group.
Today was the launch of Oman ICT Group logo. It has been 3 years since the group was established, and the logo is called ICT Group. And the theme of the logo is the youth looking into the future of Sultanate Oman, and how it goes with the fourth industrial revolution. Of course, Oman ICT Group, one of the main aims is to match Vision 2040 and to be an active contributor to the GDP, Oman's GDP. It is a great honor to have launched this logo in our third year, and we hope that with this new logo it will be another new beginning for Oman ICT Group, where we look into the technologies of the fourth industrial revolution.
The new identity was chosen to reflect the group's commitment to investing in modern technologies and enabling the employment of ICT in the Sultanate of Oman in various sectors, keeping pace with the technological development witnessed by the world. That includes all aspects of life and the business environment.
The new branding for the Oman ICT Group, which is now ICT Group, was selected actually to reflect the main focus of the group on the upcoming years. We would be focusing on adding a more futuristic technologies and adding more smartness to the different sectors, using the fourth industrial revolution technologies. And that's why the logo and the new brand will reflect actually the use of the youth in achieving our targets as a group on deploying the fourth industrial revolution technologies to achieve our optimal targets.
On the sidelines of the launching ceremony, OICT Group emphasized on the continuation of its efforts in developing information technology sector and cloud infrastructure services, as well as promoting digital transformation in the country, while investing in ICT to create opportunities, enable economic sectors, upskill young people, and support SMEs and entrepreneurs working in technology and innovation. A number of initiatives will be launched annually to ignite youth potentials who will come up with the best innovative solutions using future technologies. From the Royal Opera House, Muscat, Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi.
And still to come in our news bulletin. 15 students from Sultan Qaboos University started to train on application and the Internet of Things.
إننا نقف اليوم بإرادة صلبة وعزيمة لا تلين على إعتاب مرحلة مهمة من مراحل التنمية والبناء في عمان، مرحلة شاركتم في رسم تطلعاتها في الرؤية المستقبلية عمان 2040.
Exchanging viewpoints and discussing issues with mutual concern in the military field, top discussions of His Excellency Dr. Mohammed bin Nasser al-Za'abi, Secretary General of the Ministry of Defense, with His Excellency Daniel Benyam, Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Arabian Peninsula Affairs at the U.S. Department of State, and his accompanying delegation, who is on a current visit to the Sultanate of Oman. Royal Army of Oman held a ceremony today to mark the graduation of a new batch of recruits at the ground of Sultan Armed Forces Regiment. The ceremony was held under the patronage of Lieutenant General Matar bin Salim Lublushi, commander of the Royal Army of Oman. The event included military parade for the graduates, accompanied by music band of the Royal Army of Oman. During the ceremony, the chief guest distributed certificates to the toppers. The Global Travel Week Middle East edition in Muscat have had successful results which will contribute to the expansion of international cooperation, the preservation and promotion of tourism in the Sultanate of Oman. This was stated during the conclusion ceremony. More details in the following report.
The Global Travel Week Middle East edition, hosted by the Minister of Heritage and Tourism, concluded its three-day activity. The Global Week event brought together domestic, regional and international tour operators, travel agents, destination agencies and various other players in tourism trade, where they have focused on building intrinsic relationships and powerful connections between travel buyers, suppliers, leading hotels and global industry experts in the field of travel and tourism.
Global Travel Week was designed to bring together travel buyers and travel sellers all around the world to fundamentally promote the GCC. And we're in Oman here today, which has some big targets in the future. 2040, it hopes to attract 11.7 million tourists, but it's well on its way. I've just had a holiday in Salalah, which was absolutely amazing. I stayed at the Alila Hinu Bay, and it was a beautiful resort with such wonderful experiences. One that I won't forget is drinking my first cup of frankincense tea. That was delicious.
Powered by Connections, a flagship brand of Jacobs Media Group, the event draws inspiration from the science of mind and behavior and has pioneered the Connections Way, a new age networking concept. A series of one-to-one meetings remixed with a range of unexpected experiences to help build trust through memorable interactions that lead to a long-lasting business relationship was conducted. The conference focused on sharing insightful data throughout the seminar to address the latest challenges and trends across the global travel industry. Today, Oman stands out among nations as land of unimaginable beauty and contemporary oriental elegance. With plans for a diversified tourism sector, the Sultanate's 2040 vision, together with the global efforts to promote international relations across travel and tourism, are paving the way for new markets and a wider global demographic to come and experience Oman.
We are proud to be hosting the first edition of Global Travel Week Middle East Virgin. And so far the discussions here have been very fruitful with all the global trade companies. And we are looking forward for future partnership with Jacobs Group to expand the initiations.
At the conclusion ceremony held last night, the participants of Global Travel Week Middle East in their speeches praised the success of the event and are looking forward for fruitful outcome. From the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism, Ms. Asma bint Salim Al-Hajriya in her speech thanked Jacob Media Company team and the entire guests for their dedicated efforts that support the recovery and resurgence of tourism industry. She added Oman have always been renowned as friendly and pleased to welcome visitors from around the world.
Global Travel Week is concluded with the event tonight, and I have been talking to both suppliers and buyers, and I have to say that the outcome of the meeting is fantastic. I can talk mainly for Shangri-La Al-Shisa and Shangri-La Al-Husn, but I can say that even during the event we already have started to talk to some of the partners, some of the agents, and we have already started to generate some bookings for the later part of this year. Now, what was interesting for me is the fact that many of these buyers actually have been here for the first time. And from what I can see, the impression that Oman has made, both from the side of the natural beauty, the hotels, the luxury component of the environment, has been very, very positive.
The evening witnessed traditional Oman through a demonstration of traditional folklore dances which captured the attention of the visitors.
This event is really a wonderful event for Oman. It's show and highlights the most attractive tourism areas in Oman and give an opportunity to other travel agents and tour operators around the world to understand Oman and motivate them to work with the local companies.
Indeed, the Global Travel Week Middle East edition have had successful result, which will contribute to the expansion of the international cooperation and promotion of tourism in Oman. Oman's outstanding monuments, historic places, cultural landscapes that offer some of the most beautiful natural scenery for all to enjoy. Sultanate of Oman is waiting to welcome you. Come and discover Oman. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
Oman Tourism College held a ceremony to mark the graduation of 371 students from 2020, 2021 and 2022 batches. These students obtained diploma and bachelor degrees in tourism and hospitality management, tourism, marketing, event management and business enterprises. The graduates expressed their happiness on this occasion after years of dedication and hard studying. The ceremony was presided over by His Excellency Salim bin Mohammed Al-Mahrouqi, Minister of Heritage and Tourism. The University of Technology and Applied Sciences in Nizwa also celebrated the graduation of a new batch of diploma, advanced diploma and bachelor holders. The number of graduates was 1,713 in the fields of engineering, information technology and business studies. The graduation ceremony included a number of activities and distribution of certificates to the graduates and excelled students. The students expressed their happiness and pride for graduation after the hard work and efforts they exerted during the years of study, and stressed that they are ready for the next stage of their lives, which is to head towards the labor market, get a job, and serve their country. 15 students from Sultan Qaboos University started to train on application and Internet of Things today. This opportunity came as a joint venture between the Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation, along with Ericsson. The training program covers three main aspects within the Internet of Things, which are the use of it in water agriculture and greenhouses. The program will last for 3 months and will include both practical and theoretical concepts related to this new age technology. The participants, who are from different streams of study, have shown interest and expressed that this course will be of high value for their studies and practical life. To engage them in shaping the futuristic developments of projects, the Office of Al-Wusta Governor held a meeting for the youth of the governorate. More details in the following report.
With the participation of more than 120 youth from the wilayas of Hayma, Mahout, Al-Duqm and Al-Jazir, the Office of Al-Wusta Governor organized a meeting to familiarize the youth with the developmental projects of the governorate for the coming period and their role in rendering initiatives to attain further achievements for Al-Wusta Governorate.
Our government always try to be together with youth in a function like this. So we have big support, but we need to see our youth in Al-Wusta and Al-Jazir especially being in a first line on function like this.
The first session of the meeting included a presentation of the prominent strategic plans for the Al-Wusta Governorate, which are in line with the national priorities of Oman Vision 2040.
It's really important for any people here in Al-Wusta Governorate, student, for the business, who has big or small companies. Our governor is really has a communication with us, with the student, and this meeting really show us what the governance needs from the service.
The second session shed light on the available opportunities for development projects that the governorate intends to implement and the need for young people to invest in such opportunities. The platform Initiate and Innovate was also reviewed to encourage talented people and innovators to take part in shaping the promising future of Al-Wusta Governorate. For the Sultanate of Oman Television.
This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haytham gives an audience at Al Baraka Palace to Her Excellency Elizabeth Truss, the British Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs. On behalf of His Majesty the Sultan, His Highness Sayyid As'ad bin Tariq Al Saeed receives the Ambassador of the Syrian Arab Republic to the Sultanate to bid him farewell at the end of his duty. The Minister of Health stresses that the COVID-19 pandemic still continues and 26 cases of dengue fever are registered during the past weeks in the Governorate of Muscat. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night and stay safe.